Hey, welcome back, y'all. If you are just seeing me for the first time, my name is Nick Latch. I am the creator of the Life with Nick YouTube channel and the host of the Life with Nick podcast. Real quick, just to be mindful of your time and mine as well, if you want to understand who the heck I am and see if I'm for you or not, head over to the channel, check out the introduction video. It's about 10 or so minutes, and that's really going to give you a clear indication of who I am, why you're seeing this random stuff on my channel, why there's podcasts, why there's coaching concepts, all of that good stuff. Also, feel free to check out the website as well too. This is really just to understand if I am for you or not. Certainly looking for good people to continue to build our community of those who want to engage in personal development. It's something that I believe everyone should engage in. And so just to kind of give you a quick synopsis, that'll help you out to know if I'm for you or not. Or if you want to stick around and listen to this coaching concept video, you're more than welcome to do so. For those that do know what's going on and are following along, let's go ahead and dive back into our coaching concept book, which is Emotional Agility by Susan David. We just did a video where we kind of hit on the head of what the hell bottling is and are you a bottler? And this had to deal with a behavior that people do to avoid negative emotions. And this video is going to be the peanut butter and jelly to the former video in terms of what men mostly do versus what women mostly do. Now, I will also say that whether you're a guy or girl, you could do both or any of these because they're learned behaviors. But I think it's important to bring up both of them in a light that says that most of us do one of these, if not both of these. So, on that note, let us introduce the coaching concept, and that is, what the hell is brooding? Am I a brooder? Okay. So, as we just laid out, we had been introduced to bottling, and now we're going to talk about brooding. So, think of brooding as fixating. When bottlers kind of push away and deflect these negative emotions as they come up, what brooders do is they latch on to these emotions. They latch on and they latch on for maybe a couple minutes, a couple hours, a couple days, weeks, months, and years. And similarly to bottling, if this is never something that you get to end up fixing or getting to the root cause of, it can cause a lot of turmoil. Now, in this particular behavior, we're not going to implode like bottling does, but we ultimately will cause harm to ourselves and others if we don't get to why we're getting this negative emotion and the trigger because of it. So, to reiterate the point, brooders, when hooked on an uncomfortable feeling, will stew in their misery, endlessly stirring the pot around and around and around and around. Kind of to that point of fixation, it just slowly just kind of builds and becomes more intense, more intense, more intense, more intense. So they can't let go, and they struggle to compartmentalize as they obsess over a hurt, a perceived failure, a shortcoming, or some anxiety. So again, both of them have their effects on us. It's just happening in two different ways. So one of the strategies or why people would use bottling is to just kind of get it out of the way, right? Which can be useful. Now, brooding in some sense does have a better advantage in terms of you're feeling the emotion, which is positive, but it's the time in which we brood on the problem where it becomes a problem. So another piece to this is I don't want to say overthinking, because overthinking can be a little bit of an advantage if you're doing it in a healthy way. But another place where this comes in is like taking a problem as it is in face value, brooding on it, and then going like 4 or 5 or 8 steps down the line to where you're in a place mentally where you're not even close to the original problem that's going on. So brooding is the cousin of worry. Both worrying and brooding are intensely self-focused, meaning you're in that moment and you're not present. Worry is kind of looking forward. You're worried about something in the future, whereas brooding is looking back. So something happened and you cannot just let go of what happened. So brooders lose perspective in terms of molehills become mountains, or just slights become, more than what they are. So as I mentioned before, brooders do have a sense of that they're actually feeling their feelings versus pushing everything away. But the danger of bottling is emotional leakage. Brooding is just drowning in a flood of misery. That's the problem, and that's where it kind of bleeds out into others. So think of it this way. This is a wonderful example provided in the book. So again, bottling forces those emotions and feelings into that bottle that we used, versus brooding is like a hurricane, and it grows ever more powerful the more you kind of fixate in it, to the point of like it's completely unleashed and it's going to go and affect everyone. So people who brood want to deal with their feelings with the best of intentions, similarly to bottling, right? They have the best of intentions. They want to deal with their unhappiness, and so they think through it, and then they think through it again, and then they think through it again and again and again. And the problem with that is that they don't inch closer to the resolution to the problem. It's just the fixation on what is wrong and the negative trigger that doesn't help them move forward. There is, unfortunately, a piece of self-blame that goes into this as well, too. So as you're thinking and thinking and thinking, you begin to self-inflict some of these thoughts as to, like, why do I always react like this? Or why can't I handle this better? Like bottling, it takes up just so much energy, and it's exhausting because you're using it to deflect, but the way you're deflecting is not deflecting like bottling. You're just building up that hurricane internally until you can't basically just deal with what you need to do. Similarly to the interpersonal and social effects, brooding can amplify others around you to the point of help. Like sometimes friends can help you brood, or if you have a couple friends that you go out with that all brood together and like share that emotional baggage, that hurricane can amplify into multiple hurricanes, and then it's just one big hurricane after that. So instead of you lashing out, so to speak, this is more of a like building and nurturing a hurricane that is going on. And so there was another point being made here as far as brooding goes, and that is that when we go to vent in these group sessions, as we were just mentioning, we intend to be productive, to talk about our feelings, and this is, again, net positive instead of deflecting and never talking about it. But if we don't ever make positive strides to want to get to a better place or get to the root cause, now we're just all brooding together. And sometimes it can even be on the opposite end of the spectrum, where it's not even healthy anymore. You're getting more poured on you because other people's emotional baggage is coming on top of you. So now you have your problems, but you were just paying attention to everyone else's as well too. So again, it's just dumping, kind of trauma dumping, emotional dumping on yourself. And we need to focus on, instead of falling into that fixation, to take a step back, be emotionally agile by kind of unhooking and just saying, again, what is this negative emotion triggering in me? What's the signal that I need to really lean into? So similarly to the last video, let's just take a moment and ask if you are a brooder. Is this something that you feel like you have dealt with now that I've described this? Also, since I've described both bottling and brewing, where do we fall on the spectrum of both of these, right? What are the behaviors that we feel like we use to get over or ruminate in these negative feelings? And just like positive feelings, negative feelings are temporary as well too. We want to get to the other side to be more positive. We don't like spending time in negative. And yet when we are in negative, if you are someone that brood, oftentimes you're going to, again, build it up. So the next time you're in a situation where you feel that trigger, let's say, okay, I'm kind of building right now. I'm kind of blowing things up. I'm on a level 5 when it's only a level 1. Detach from that and go, okay, I know that I'm brooding right now. Versus bottling, which bottling's like, I can't deal with this right now, I'll deal with it later. And then just take the time to process what that negative emotion is trying to show you. So now you have been introduced to the 2 types of behavior that are put forth in this book that are, again, what we commonly do. It's a learned behavior. And so take some time, figure out if you're a bottler, figure out if you're a brooder, and that will at least give you the awareness to know what's kind of going on. Now there's one more thing, I'll call it kind of a bonus behavior, but it's more of a societal kind of outlook versus a behavior that we do. So we're going to touch on that in this next video, and thank you so much. I appreciate it.